Welcome back, Bills Mafia to Carolina Takeover. I'm Owen, and thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to first shout out to everyone that has subscribed to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. All those that left comments. It really does help the show, so I really do appreciate that. Man, we are 1 week away from training camp, and I am super excited. I cannot wait to get the season going here at Bills Mafia Carolina Takeover. I've got bunch of guests that are going to come in from the other sideline, some new guests, new teams are going to enter in to the other sideline. So it's going to be a really awesome year here. And hopefully, like I mentioned earlier, one of these things is going to swap out for a trophy. But hey, before we get started on this week's episode, I have to make a little confession. Apparently, for the first couple episodes here, I was using the wrong camera. My lighting wasn't exactly doing me any favors. And my microphone, well, it was cutting in and out. And let's just say it wasn't making the Pro Bowl. So welcome to the upgraded Bills Mafia Carolina Takeover. New lighting, better sound, better audio, better camera. So I'm really excited. This place is turning out to be really fun and a really great area for Bills Mafia to hang out. And that's all because of you guys subscribing and commenting and liking on YouTube. So I really do appreciate it. Today, we're going to do something a little different. Training camp is still about a week away. So instead, we're going to have a little fun on this podcast. We're going to play a game called Buy and Sell, where buy, I'm in it, I'm buying that, or sell, man, I'm not into that. I'm getting rid of that. I'm going to sell that. And so before we dive into training camp and get rolling with the season, I figured, why don't we do some of the biggest storylines heading into camp? But let's have a little fun with that right now on Bills Mafia Carolina Takeover.
Bills Mafia. Are you ready? From North Carolina to Buffalo, the Mafia is united. This is your home for the passion, the power, and the pride of the Buffalo Bills. Welcome to Bills Mafia Carolina Takeover. Let's go, Bills.
All right, the first one we're going to do right now is going to be JoshAllen wins another NFL MVP. I'm going to sell this, maybe an unpopular opinion, but I am going to sell this here. I don't think he wins an MVP. It's really hard to win an MVP. Most of the MVP winners aren't even you haven't won a Super Bowl that year. So, I mean, there's that point of it that I don't want Josh to win. But, you know, even though he's the best quarterback in the game right now, number one, I don't think he wins the MVP. Certainly throughout the course of the year, for sure, he's going to be in talks of the MVP, but I don't think Josh wins another one. So I'm definitely going to sell on this one here. All right, number 2, Keon Coleman becomes Buffalo's number 2 wide receiver. Yeah, this is 100% selling. I'm selling it immediately. You don't even have to talk to me about it. There's no way in hell Keon Coleman becomes the number 2 wide receiver. He's going to be lucky if he's even 3. And we'll dive more into this in camp, but I've got Keon Coleman slated 4+, 4 out, maybe even special teams guy. I'm going to sell this. Certainly, Keon Coleman has a lot to prove, especially with the off-field stuff, and with the new regime, quote unquote, with Brady and all that. It's going to be interesting to see how they go about doing that and what Keon Coleman becomes. He's worked with Stevie Johnson in the offseason, which is really great, but he has the upside. He just needs the consistency. He needs to consistently be that impact player. And I don't know necessarily chemistry wise whether JoshAllen and Keon Coleman are, on the same page and all that. Quarterbacks talk about that all the time. So I'm definitely going to sell on this one. Keon Coleman is definitely not going to be a number 2 wide receiver. And quite frankly, he may not even be number 4. All right, number 3, Bills finish with a top 5 defense under Jim Leonhard. 100% buying this. I am buying this. Here's my money. Take it. Look, the Bills defense under Sean McDermott these past 9 seasons haven't been horrible. I know you can go back and there's definitely games and stuff like that. We get it, 13 seconds and all that. We talked about that. But really, if you go back and look at the total picture with Sean McDermott, the defenses have been relatively good, not top 5 defense. With that being said, however, I do believe that Jim Leonhard's defense is going to be top 5, and the Bills will finish top 5. Look, there's a fresh voice, a defensive voice in there. It's a 3-4 defense, not the normal 93-4 defense, 93-4 defense. Lot of blitzing, super aggressive philosophy. Remember, Leonhard played with Rex Ryan here in Buffalo, so it's going to be a Rex Ryan 2.0, and I'm super excited to see what that looks like. Plenty of talent that was drafted. And I just think, like, for me and probably most Bills fans out there, having a new kind of feel, a new look defense, completely different than what Sean McDermott has put out there these last 9 seasons, I think it's refreshing. And I think Jim Leonhard in Denver proved that he is a top defensive coordinator. So I 100% I'm buying that the Bills will finish top 5 defense under Jim Leonhard. Okay, number 4, C.J. Gardner-Johnson becomes Buffalo's biggest free agent. Love this. So the other big free agent here is obviously Bradley Chubb, defensive end, edge rusher there. It's going to be very interesting to see how he is in that defense, especially the Leonhard kind of aggressive defense there. Definitely he's an upgrade from Vaughn and Bosa for sure. That's been an experiment that's been going on for years. I'm not sure what's going on with Bean and that piece, but hopefully Bradley Chubb can be the difference maker kind of person that we're looking for opposite Greg Russo. But again, in Jim Leonhard's defense, there's a lot of movement there. So I think that, Bradley Chubb certainly can be one of the Bills' biggest free agents offseason signing. However, with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I am buying this because if this man can move away from the off-season, off the fields kind of stuff that's really inhibited him from staying on a team, being impactful on a team, and the Bills culture can really grasp him, bring him in, really help get to where CJ Gardner should be, it's going to be lights out. He will no doubt be the best free agent signing the Bills have signed. He's physical. He's emotional. He's a turnover creator, and he gives the secondary that the Bills attitude. Bills haven't had an attitude like that probably, man, you got to probably go back to maybe the 90s. I mean, Poyer and High, great players, love them, but they're not the attitude CJ Gardner-Johnson is. So if CJ Gardner-Johnson can focus, get in there, not have any of the off-field stuff, and stay on the field, that's going to be lights out. That's going to be a huge, huge difference, Bills Mafia. If he is who I'm predicting him to be, this will be the one position that we have not seen at all, probably in 15 years. If CJ Gardner can get it grounded there, it's going to be a huge, huge, huge impact there. So I'm buying CJ Gardner-Johnson becomes the Buffalo's free agent, the biggest Buffalo Bills free agent addition. All right, number 5, Buffalo has 2,000-yard receivers. I'm selling this. You don't even have to get into this with me. 100% I'm selling this. There's no way this is going to happen. There's not even going to be a path where I see one wide receiver get 1,000 yards. It's going to be really tough. First of all, Josh spreads the ball around, and going into the season, you're hoping with the additions of DJ Moore, Skylar Bell, Palmer getting healthy, obviously Shakir, and then possibly Dalton Kincaid getting to where we want Dalton Kincaid to get when we drafted him. I don't see any wide receiver getting 1,000 yards. Certainly not 2, but definitely not 1. So I'm going to sell this. Just Josh has too many weapons. Don't forget about Cook in the backfield, right? It doesn't mean that I'm not saying that the passing offense isn't going to be explosive. I'm just saying that it's just really difficult for one wide receiver in this offense with Josh Allen and hopefully the weapons that we surrounded him this year. that's going to be really tough to get 1,000 yards. Okay, number 6, a rookie starts week 1. Yeah, I mean, 100% buy. Here's my wallet, my credit card. I'm definitely buying this. I mean, every year there's going to be a rookie that's going to start for the Bills. I think the difference this year is you might have 3, maybe 4, but I can count 3 rookies right now. You've got, obviously, TJ Parker is going to be a huge menace in Leonhard's defense. He's going to have a huge impact this year, so he's definitely starting. And then you got to have Davison, the cornerback, on the other side. Now, it's going to be an interesting battle, and we'll talk a little bit more about it during training camp, but the cornerback position right now is Benford. And so you don't really have a second, or, an opposite side there. So that's a battle position. But I think Davison gets it done, and he's going to start. And then the third guy that I've got is Skylar Bell. I think Skylar Bell leapfrogs Coleman, and he may even possibly leapfrog a Palmer as well. I think he's going to be a huge impact. Obviously, he's a rookie, so, it's a long season. Let's get to training camp. But for sure, I'm buying this. We're not only going to have 1 rookie, but I'm calling we're going to have 3 rookies. And remember, Buffalo doesn't really care where you're drafted. If you are going to be an impact player from day 1, you could be drafted 6th, 7th, Milano, 4. It doesn't matter. If you're going to impact, you're going to start. And that's what's great about the Bills, is they found gems in those later rounds to start. And there's always going to be a surprise rookie. There's always going to be a surprise rookie that's going to start. But TJ Parker, Davison, Sky Bell, those are going to be my 3 that are going to start. So I'm buying that not only a rookie, but rookies start week 1 for the Bills. All right, number 7, James Cook's rushes for 1,200 yards. Man, this one is tough. I want to say I want to sell this because I'm hoping that with the new additions of Sky Bell, DJ Moore, Dalton Kincaid is back to where he needs to be, where we want him to be. Possibly Palmer getting there. I mean, those are 3 huge weapons there. Losing Cromer on the offensive line, that's going to be an interesting kind of storyline for the Bills going into this season, what that's going to look like. Cromer is one of the best offensive lines coaches that really have ever coached. So it's going to be interesting to see that. However, Joe Brady has always been committed to the run, so there's that piece there. I'm actually going to sell this. Also may not be a popular take here. I don't know if James Cook is going to get to 1,200 yards. I mean, that's what I'm forecasting here. Look, the offensive line is good. It's improving. We all know that Joe Brady is committed to the run. Now, that was offensive coordinator Joe Brady. So what does the offensive look when Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, is the head man here? Does that is the difference? So it's going to be interesting to see. But I'm going to go against James Cook here. I'm going to sell that James Cook does not get 1,200 plus yards this year. All right, number 8, Bills win the AFC East. Buying this 100%. Here's my money again. Look, I mean, any realistic, and we'll just stay in the AFC East, any realistic AFC East fan from another team, and we're going to have them on the show, obviously, this year as well, Jesse from Pats Nation and the Jets and the Dolphins. Any reasonable fan of another team has to put the Bills at top of the AFC, and for the sole reason of number 17. I mean, that is all that has to be said to be there. Now, obviously, the Patriots overperformed, and I get that, and so Patriots are riding high going into the season. But when it comes down to it, Josh Allen is the difference maker. He will always have an opportunity to win the AFC East. So I really don't see the Bills not getting the AFC East this year. I think with Leonhard's defense is going to be a huge impact. It's going to help the Bills. It's going to help Josh Allen, really. The Bills have a strong roster on defense. They've made a little bit of upgrades on offense. And look, the division is improving. Obviously, New England is there. It's interesting to see what New England looks like this year after the Super Bowl. Is that carried over, or is there a lull there? So it's going to be interesting there. And look, the Jets look great on paper. But, paper doesn't win you games, so let's see what they look like. And Miami is kind of working through their issues and trying to find the best solution there. So I think when you look at the total picture here, as long as Josh Allen is healthy, I think the Bills are back on top of the AFCs. So I'm buying Bills win the AFC East. All right, number 9, and we talked about him earlier. Skylar Bell makes the 53-man roster. 100. Skylar Bell makes the roster. Not only does he make the roster, but he's number 3 wide receiver in the depth chart. I just think when you get past DJ Moore and Shakir, there's a drop off there. Again, we talked a lot about Coleman. Didn't really talk a lot about Palmer. Be interested to see what he does, but I think Skylar Bell leapfrogs both of them, and he makes the 53-man roster. I don't think there's any doubt about it. He's an intriguing young player, especially coming out of I call it a small school, UConn. But, obviously he needs to have a great training camp and get through there. Special teams is also a possibility for Skylar Bell, but I think based on everything I've done, the research, people I've talked to, I think Skylar Bell gets in there and he shocks people and becomes the number 3 wide receiver. So he is definitely making the 53-man roster. So I am 100% buying that. All right, number 10. This is the Bills' deepest roster of Josh Allen's era. 100% buying, but not what you think. It's not the offensive side. It's the defensive side. I think for the first time in Josh Allen's career, he is going to have a defense that is going to carry games. I think Jim Leonhard's defense is attacking, aggressive, very much, and Jim Leonhard talked about this, mirror the same of what the offense is. Josh Allen, aggressive, attacking, what have you. So I definitely am buying this. The Bills have a deeper roster for Josh Allen, more on the defensive side, which ultimately is the defense is going to win them games. And Josh is this year, Josh is not going to have to be hero ball. And I think the roster on the defensive side of the ball is what keeps Josh Allen in this season the deepest Bills roster. So buying that this season, in fact, is the deepest roster for Josh Allen. So that's where I stand, Bills Mafia. Now I want to hear from you. What are you buying? What are you selling? Or what are my takes here? Are they terrible, off the wall? Tell me, what are you guys looking at? Any Keon Coleman fans out there? Leave a comment. Am I shrugging Keon Coleman off a little bit? I want to hear from you. Love hearing from Bills Mafia. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share it amongst Bills Mafia, your friends and families. I really do appreciate that. Also, make sure you head over to the website, BillsMafiaCTO.Riverside, RIVERSIDE.com. There you can sign up for our newsletter. You'll get it every week. Plus, you can also watch all the back episodes as well as the new episodes on the website, so check that out. Head over to Facebook, Bills Mafia Carolina Takeover. Make sure you follow that. Leave comments on there as well. And if you need to reach out to me, BillsMafiaCTO@gmail.com is the Gmail to hit me up. And we are going to have Mafia Mail this year. Again, a super fun, popular segment of the show. We're going to have that back. So stay tuned for that. BillsMafiaCTO@gmail.com is the Mafia Mail section. So hit that up. And we'll revisit these predictions after the season. I'm interested to see and just see how many I got right, how mmany you guys selected that were different than mine. So I'm really excited to take a look at that at the end of the season. We are 1 week away from training camp where we could get fully into it. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped for this season. I cannot wait to get this off. And as always, be good, do good, God bless, and go Bills.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Bills Mafia Carolina Takeover. Thanks for tuning in and repping the Mafia with us. Don't forget to subscribe, drop your Mafia mail, and join us next time as we bring the passion, the pride, and the power of the Buffalo Bills straight from the Carolinas. Let's go Buffalo.